Aku mulai ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Ibu, and good morning, all of my friends. So today, I would like to present about the art of fiction, the element of fiction, and fiction some forms by Group 3. There are Salsabila, Ratu, Salsabila Wafira, Salsabila Rihadatul Aishi, Rosyada Al-Sakinah, Salwa Zahra, and Titik Khairani Harahap. The first materi about the art of fiction will present by Salwa Zahra. For Salwa Zahra, please welcome.
Thank you, Ratu. As we know, a lot of people like fiction, but do you know what is fiction? Here I will explain about definition of fiction. According to Kennedy, argues that fiction is a name for stories not entirely factual, but at least partially spun, made up, imagined. Although some writers compose their stories based on real incidents as he believes, they might have used their literary skills and imagination to arrive and provide the facts to appear as artistic. Kennedy claims that the facts the story carry are not more important than how their writers deliver them. That's all from me. I return it into the moderator.
Thank you, Salwa. The next materi, still about the art of fiction, will present by me. So, the dominant forms of fiction that we see today, namely the short story and the novel, are relatively new. Narrative and storytelling are as old as human history. Each culture and language group can trace its beginning to an establishing myth, folktale, epic, or romance narrative. These early stories were first passed from generation to generation through oral tradition before the widespread use and technology for writing became practical. Now, these earliest narratives have been recorded much as contemporary writers commit their works of history to history. So that's all about the art of fiction. The next materi will present by Rosyada. For Rosyada, please welcome.
Thank you, moderator. I will explain about the elements of fiction. Every fiction is unique. It consists of some elements, both intrinsic and extrinsic. The number of elements that build a story is subjectively dependent on the ones which are needed by its reader. Many elements that readers may use, plot, setting, character, symbol, a point of view, are commonly the necessary elements to develop a story and its theme. Next, please. A plot, according to DNA 2000 by 44 writers, plot is the arrangement of events that make up a story. Although some scholars disagree with others in terms of elements that build a story plot, Diani argues that the plot of a typical short story comprises exposition, complication, crisis or climax, failing action, and resolution. Next. The next is setting. According to Kennedy, 1987, setting refers to time and place. Setting in fiction refers to where and when a story takes place, and action are conducted. The action may happen in the context of time, place, and social environment. The action may occur in the physical environment of a story or any specific times or events. The setting of the stories generally can be grouped in two types of setting: physical setting and chronological setting. Please next. 3 is character. Characters are the actors in the story that causes the story to move from one activity to another. They may be the people, animals, or aliens. Character in fiction can be major and minor, static and dynamic character. A major character is an actual figure at the center of the story. The major character, protagonist, is a figure whose conflict with an antagonist may spark the story's conflict. Supporting the protagonist is one or more secondary or minor characters whose function partly illuminates the major characters. Minor characters are often static or unchanging, and they remain the same from the beginning of a work to the end. On the other hand, dynamic character exhibitions some kind of change of attitude, purpose, behavior as the story progresses. The next material will be presented by Salsabila Hadatul Aishi.
Thank you, Rosada. I will explain the next element of fiction. Symbol. A symbol is the use of something to mean something else. Something else device used to evoke complex idea. Some symbols are globally recognized and some are locally understood. A symbol can be setting, character, action, object, name, or anything else in specific literary work that maintains its literal significance while it suggests other meanings. The next, point of view. In fiction, the point of view refers to the character who tells a story. The character narrates how the story goes on. The story may have one or more point of view. Diani 2000 argued that generally point of view can be third person point of view or first person point of view. The third person narrator use pronouns he, her, him, her, his, hers, them, and theirs. The third person narrator stay out of the story. This type of narrator plays the roles. The roles in a two-way, third person limit or the third person omniscience. Third person limit means that the narrator exists only in one character thought. Whereas third paragraph omission means the narrator exists in the various character through thoughts. The two types of a narrator may be as follows. Subtype 1. Omniscience. The omniscience narrator knows everything, take the reader inside the character through feeling and motive and show the character say and do. 2. Limit omniscience. The limit omniscient narrator takes the reader inside one or a few characters but knows nothing about the character. 3. Objective or dramatic. The objective narrator does not see into the mind of any character. The narrator reports the action and dialogue with telling a reader directly what the character feel and think. And 3. Them. Diani 2000 argued that a them is the central idea or point formule as a generalization of a story. It is the main idea the writer of a story what the reader to understand and remember. A story then can be understood after it abstract from other element of the story, such as plot, character setting, point of view, symbol, and other element, which compose a story. Some stories have a universal share them, which are understood by readers all over the world. Common themes include love, happiness, hate, greed, and betrayal. Some stories in the culture or different culture may have similar universal themes. Some stories may have a specific theme and them only exist within the culture the story tells. The next material, I give it to the moderator.
Okay, thank you. Salsabila Rihadatul. The next material will present by Salsabila Wafira and Fitri. For them, please welcome.
Okay, thank you, Ratu. I will tell about fiction some forms.
Yes, please.
Next slide, please. Okay. Fiction is a diverse literary genre encompassing various forms, each with its own unique characteristic and convention. Here are some common forms of fiction. 1. Novel. A novel is a long work of fiction typically characterized by a complex plot, well-developed character, and multiple themes. Novel can vary greatly in length and style, ranging from classic works like Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen to contemporary bestsellers like Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Next, please. Two, short story. Short story are brief works of fiction that focus on a single event, character, or idea. They are often more concise than novels and require the writer to convey a complete narrative within a limited word count. Examples include The Lottery by Shirley Jackson and The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. 3. Flash fiction. Flash fiction, also known as microfiction or shorthand fiction, is an extremely short form of storytelling characterized by its brevity. Typically, flash fiction pieces are no more than a few hundred words long, sometimes even shorter. This form requires writers to convey a complete story with limited words, often leaving much to the reader imagination. Next, please. 4. Novella. A novella is longer than a short story but shorter than a novel. It allows for more character development and plot complexity than a short story while still being more concise than a novel. Novels often explore a single theme or idea in depth. Examples include Animal Farm by George Orwell and Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. 5. Epistolary fiction. Epistolary fiction is composed entirely of letters, diary entries, newspaper clippings, or other documents. This form allows for multiple perspective and narrative voices and can create a sense of immediacy and intimacy between the reader and the characters. Examples include Dracula by Bram Stoker and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Okay, back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Salsabila Wafira. The next materi will present by Fitri. For Fitri, please welcome.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Now, I would like to explain you about the other forms of fiction. So, the next one is historical fiction. What is historical fiction? So, historical fiction is set in the past and often incorporates real in historical events, figures, and settings. While the character and the specific events may be fictional, the overall context is historical accurate. This genre allows writers to explore different time spread and culture while telling spelling stories. So, for the example in historical fiction is the book Thief by Marcus Zusak and All the Reich We Cannot See by Anthony Durr. So the next one is fantasy. Fantasy in fiction is feature imaginative and often supernatural elements such as magic, mythical creatures, and alternative worlds. It allows writer to create elaborate and fantastical settings and explore themes related to the power, destiny, and the human condition. The example of fantasy in fiction is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, and the other is A Song of Ice and Fire by Georgia R.R. Martin. Next. So the last one is science fiction. Science fiction explore as speculative concepts such as advanced technology, space exploration, and alternative realities. It often delves into the effect of scientific advancement and society and individuals. So, science fiction can range from hard science fiction, which focuses on scientific accuracy, to softer, more speculative works. The example of science fiction include the title is Dune by Frank Herbert and 1984 by Georgia Orwell. So that's all from me. Thank you, and back to moderator.
Thank you so much. So guys, that's all about the art of fiction, the elements of fiction, and fiction some forms from group 3. And if you guys have a question, you can put your question below in this YouTube video or at the class. So thank you so much, guys, for your attention. Sorry for all mistakes. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.